everyone, so today I have another storing photo cards video, and this one's going to be similar to my last one where I didn't actually put anything new away, and I just put all the cards that I took out of my binder when I moved a few months ago back into my binder. But that one was just Blackpink, and now this is going to be like pretty much everybody else that I collect. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I do have a lot more stuff to put away than I thought I did. I didn't realize just how many cards I had for all the other groups, so it is probably going to take me a while. I'm going to start off with EXO because I definitely have the most stuff to put away for them. So I already went through and made sure all of the cards were in the right order and kind of figured out how I wanted to rearrange some stuff, because I do tend to every few months like rearrange my entire EXO collection, and I don't remember how I had it rearranged the last time I changed things in this binder, but I do know they're probably like in a completely different setup than they were before. But I am going to start off with Sehun's XOSC cards first again. So I'm gonna have What a Life on the first page. I was honestly kind of thinking about going back and collecting channels cards for What a Life at some point, but I honestly don't know how hard that would be. And I do still have a lot of EXO stuff that I have to collect, just because I did decide to start collecting Suho for all EXO album cards, and I'm like nowhere near finishing all of his cards yet. So if I were to collect channels What a Life stuff, it definitely would not be for a while. Right now I have 1 billion views, which I did collect all of his normal album cards for this one, since it was pretty easy to get all of them. And I want to say I did buy like 8 albums. When this was released, and that was before there was even pre-order benefits, so I bought 9 albums. So I just bought a bunch of albums just to try and get all of the cards. I have the Kino cards. And I was thinking, since in my last video I did put all of my Blackpink stuff in the Meow Cafe 9 pocket pages instead of the Ultra Pro ones, which I've been using the Ultra Pro ones literally the entire time I've been collecting. So I'm going to kind of give it a little bit more time and just see how I like having my cards in those pages. But I do think I'm going to switch everybody else to the Meow Cafe pages eventually, because so far I think I like them a little more. Right, I'm going to go through and just put all of Sehun's album cards in, which I have been done with him for up until Exist for a while now, and I'm still missing I think a few Exist cards, but obviously he's in the military right now, so not really in a rush to finish Exist. So I just have 8 cards for the last page, since all the other albums I'm collecting more than 2 members for, because I've been just slowly working on kind of just a few albums at a time for collecting Suho instead of doing it all at once. Because I have tried rearranging this binder to already have like it fully set up to collect 3 members. Since I've had Sehun and Kai like almost completely finished for quite some time now, I just hate going from having completely full pages to then a bunch of empty spots. So I prefer to just take it one album at a time instead of like completely setting up to collect them. Right, now I'm gonna do the Kai album cards, which I am still just missing his Other Mama card, and it's honestly really not even that hard to find. I do have the one that's much harder to find of the two. but I just haven't gotten around to buying it. But that is definitely something I would really like to do before the end of the year. Or at the very least before he comes back from the military. As for EXO, I do collect the Chinese version and Korean versions of all their cards. So I did try and make sure I have them all in like the right order, but or like at least have Sehun and Kai in like the same order. But there is a chance I might have gotten something slightly out of order, which I honestly should have just like double checked the template. And I'm also pretty sure I do have all the albums in the right release order, but I wasn't looking at a template, so hopefully nothing is in the wrong order. But I will probably at some point double check with the template that everything is right. Alright, so that was everything for Kai. So now I'm going to go into the albums that I'm collecting 3 members for. Right, so for Don't Mess With My Tempo, I have 2 sets for all 3 of them. And then I'm just missing the other card in this set. And I also, if I remember correctly, the way I had them stored before was not in age order, which I'm sorry if that bothers you. I honestly just don't care about having my stuff sorted in age order. So I did put Sehun in the middle just because he is my bias. And I think I did Kai first and then Suho at the end. I still need that card. I think I'm going to do this set at the top. And then that one at the bottom. Which honestly, I think the Don't Mess With My Tempo cards are probably some of my favorite cards of his. So there is that page, and then there is one other set of Don't Mess With My Tempo cards, but obviously it doesn't work on that page because it's only 3 rows. So I'm gonna put them with the 2 sets of Love Shot cards. Which I haven't started working on Suho's cards for this album yet. But it was just easier to set up for this album since there was 4 versions of Love Shot and only 4 versions of Don't Mess With My Tempo and only 2 versions of Love Shot. But Sehun's Love Shot cards are some of my other favorites of his. Right, so there is that page. Next I have Obsession, which I want to say did the XXO version on one page and then the XO version on another page, which I say it in literally every video that I put away, anything Obsession related, but this is still just one of my favorite albums of theirs and one of my favorite concepts they've done. I'm gonna have to double check and make sure I didn't mix up the Obsession version and the XXO version cards, so I might have to rearrange this at some point. I just need to double check it with the template. And then I do also have the Sehun and Kai Kino cards, which were XXO versions, were the XXO concept, but I don't plan on getting Suho's because the 2 I have were hard enough to find, and I got those when the album came out, and I really don't want to have to go back and collect the Kino cards. I might honestly try and find like some merch set or something, because I think they released like a few different cards with some of the merch they put out for Obsession, so I might just try and find something to put on a page with those cards, but I don't really know. And again, with these, I don't remember which version was the Obsession version. I want to say it was that version for Sehun and that version for Suho, but I could be wrong. So I might have to rearrange this at some point. This one I just need 2 Obsession cards, and then Obsession is done. So now for Don't Fight the Feeling. Obviously Suho was not there for this album because he was in the military at the time, so I decided to collect Chanyeol for this album. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty close to finishing this album as well. I can never remember what versions these cards are from, so I'm probably gonna have to check a template and make sure I have these all in the right sets. But I do at least just want to get everything put away for now. I think those might be right, but we'll double check at some point. I'm gonna put the ID cards in the middle. I think these were the AR cards, which I think it seems like SM is finally done with the AR cards, which I definitely don't miss them doing AR cards because I really never understood the point, because I feel like they don't really even look that good most of the time, just because they're like a still from a video, which makes it kind of weird. You can definitely mix those 2 cards up. Like, I know the aespa ones they did for Savage were like a weird quality, like the pictures looked kind of blurry. Like Sehun's is really close up and then Kai's is further away. So yeah, like I said, I'm glad they're not doing the AR cards anymore. Right now I think all those should be in the right sets. So I'm just missing 1 card for Don't Fight the Feeling. Right, now I'm gonna do Exist. Right, so for the first page I have all 8 members for the Mavestar pre-order set, because I did buy 8 copies of the album, so I'd get all of them. And when I do have all 8 members for stuff, I do put them youngest to oldest because my bias is the youngest member. And my 2 favorite members are the 2 youngest members, so I like having them first. Right, so then that is the Mavestar set. And I did also buy 8 copies of the SM mini versions. And I'm still missing, I think, just Kyungsoo for this. So there is that set. Right now I just have the EX and O versions, which I'm still missing a few of these, but I am getting somewhat close. I do have Suho finished already. I know I pulled his X version card in all 3 X version albums that I had. Right, so I'm just missing Sehun's E version and Kai's X version, which I did buy Kai's X version before I moved, but then it ended up getting lost, so I should have been 1 card away from finishing this page, but still 2 away. Okay, and then on this page I do have all 3 of their digipack cards, and I believe this was Sehun's K-Town for You Pop. So I think I'm gonna try and get all 3 of the K-Town for You Pops, and I think maybe Apple Music, and then I'll be done with Exist. And I think my goal is just to at least have this finished by the time Sehun is discharged from the military, but we will see. And I'm actually gonna go back and add a page after the obsession cards real quick. Honestly, I don't think that I'll ever try and collect full group for EXO, just because they have way too many albums, and I feel like most of the sets aren't cohesive enough, and there's just so many cards that I'm missing. But if I were to collect full group for another album, it would definitely be Obsession, which would be slightly more manageable because there was only 6 members for it. And with EXO, I do keep all of the cards for the other members that I pull. So I do have some other cards for the other members. So I'm just going to have a page for them right here. I would at least like to get one other Chen card just so I could have 2 cards for all the other members. Right now I have Kai's solo stuff, which I was at one point in time going to collect all of the cards for all of his albums, but there's just way too many cards, and I honestly just don't enjoy collecting for soloists as much, with the exception of Lisa, because Lisa is like my #1 of everybody. So I'm just going to put away the cards that I do have. And honestly, there was just so many versions of his first album and so many different cards with all the different versions. That was like, and like, luckily it got a lot better after with his other 2 albums, but the first album just had so much that it took me so long, and I never even got close to finishing it. I was still missing a few cards. I'm gonna keep what I have because I do have most of the cards for his first album. I think I'm only missing 1 card for Peaches, which part of me feels like I should just try and finish it, but at the same time, it would just be probably more difficult than I would want it to be. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna do those 2 cards right there, which honestly, if I were to try and finish one of his albums, it would probably be Peaches, because these are some of my favorite cards of his. And like, I love all of his albums. His solo music is like probably tied with Baekhyun for being my favorite in the group so far. And I honestly feel like Peaches like is his most underrated title track. Also a very underrated album in general. I feel like it's probably maybe the one I listen to like the B-sides the most on, but I love all 3 of his albums. And I'm actually filming this on the day that we finally got like the first teaser and like the official announcement for Channel's solo album, which is nice because like I feel like he's been talking about wanting to release an album for years, so I'm glad he's finally getting to release one. Right now I have Rover, which is the album I have the least amount of cards for. I only have 5 cards. I think I have the mostly ones I pulled and like 1 or 2 that I bought. At the moment, I don't think I'm going to downsize his solo collection. I just don't think I'm going to keep trying to collect his solo stuff. I think I might switch that to the 1 card with the green back is in the middle. Oh, wait. Just realized I did actually have another Chen Obsession card, so I do have 2 cards for everybody. Right now, all I have left is all the cards that I pulled for the other members, which I didn't double check that these were all in the right order, so hopefully they are. It's honestly part of the reason why I have kept kept all of the cards I pulled for the other members, aside from like EXO being one of my alt groups, just because most of the EXO albums I bought when I first started collecting were all unsealed. I bought most of them unsealed with either Sehun or Kai's cards, just to make it easier, because you tend to get only one photo card with SM albums, and I didn't want to try and pull two members out of like either 8 or 9 members. So it was much easier. To just buy the albums when I knew it with like guaranteed pulls. Okay, so now I have just some solo cards from the solo albums I bought, because I was originally planning on trying to buy one solo album from every solo release, but then that just got to be like way too difficult. And it's also, at this point, now that Channel has announced this album, the only member that hasn't released a solo album is my bias. So it was like, I was buying for solo albums for everybody but my bias, and I kind of just like, it's like, I do like all their solo music and everything, and I do listen to it, but it's like, I don't know, it's kind of annoying that my bias is now like the one member that doesn't have a solo album. And then I just kind of ended up not being able to keep up with all the solo releases, so I honestly would like to go back and get some of the solo albums that I'm missing, but they've just released so many at this point that I don't know if it'd be possible. But maybe like slowly try and get some of my favorite other solo albums. Okay. So it's everything for EXO, but I am going to put another group in this binder for right now. I don't think, they're most likely not going to stay in this binder, but I don't have anywhere else to put them right now. So I am going to be putting aespa in here. My aespa collection has kind of been all over the place the last few years. I originally was collecting everything for winter, and I would keep all the Ning Ning cards that I would pull. I think at one point I like even convinced myself I was going to collect a few full group sets, and then I just didn't end up doing that. And then I think I dropped the collection at one point but didn't sell off any of the cards. And at one point I was also going to like collect a bunch of non-album stuff for winter, but then I ended up not doing that, and then I like dropped the collection. I was just going to collect a few cards for winter, and then I think My World came out and I absolutely loved that album, so I decided I want to collect a little more again. And then at one point I had moved them to an A5 binder, but I honestly just don't like having my collections in A5 binders. I prefer bigger binders, so I was planning on moving them into a bigger binder at some point. They're definitely not going to stay in this binder with EXO, but I am going to keep them in here for right now. But I honestly can't find where my A5 binders are at, so I decided to just put them in this binder for now. I will figure out somewhere else to put them at some point, but I also did decide to like officially what I think I'm going to collect for them. So right now my plan is 3 cards for winter and 3 cards for naming for each album, which I did have the winter like almost finished for Savage at some point, but I sold off all the other cards and I'm still missing one card. But the one winter card I didn't have for Savage is the one other card I need to get for this album now, because I do have, I'm gonna put other set first. I do have, I think it was an SM Global Shop pre-order set, and then I have one set of the selfie cards from Savage, and I'm going to try and get the Sync Die version set, which is the only other set of cards for this album that were selfie cards. All the other ones were like concept cards or the AR card. I know the reason I never got the Sync Die version for winter before was because every time I saw it, it was really expensive, and I honestly just did not like the card enough to justify paying as much for it as some people wanted. So I don't know if it's gotten any better in price, because like I've been looking more so at their more recent cards than Savage cards, but I would at some point like to go back and get that card. And then for girls, I did have winter like almost complete, if not complete, at one point. I think I still have most, if not all, of her cards, because I just really like the girls cards and never wanted to get rid of them. And I do have 3 cards for naming for this album as well, so I don't need to get anything for girls, which is nice, so I can just focus on all the other albums. And I do have 3 extra winter cards and I don't want to get rid of them, so I am just going to put them in the empty spots instead of putting a filler in there. Put these cards in the wrong spots. Okay, so there is that page. Right, and then for My World, I did go through some templates earlier to decide what sets I want to collect for this album. I do already have Winter and Ning Ning's Target exclusive cards. And then I have Winter's Amazon exclusive and one of the other version cards, which I can't remember. I think that might have been the poster version. And then I was planning on also collecting the tabloid version. I will have to double check that I have these version names right, because I cannot remember off the top of my head. And there's always a chance like I could change my mind, because I don't have most of the versions of this album or of Drama or Armageddon, so the plans I have now for collecting might change at some point. Like if I end up getting some albums and pulling cards from different versions, I might change my mind. Right, and then I have 3 of the US exclusives for Drama, which this Ning Ning card is from the Barnes & Noble version, and that one is like one of my favorite cards of hers ever. And I also have her Target version. They have Winter's Target version, but the backs of these cards are literally exactly the same. So I think I'm gonna put Ning Ning's Barnes & Noble exclusive with Winter's Target exclusive, because I'm not gonna try and get Winter's Barnes & Noble exclusive. So I'll just take that on the back for now. And then I was also planning on most likely trying to collect the scene version and the Drama version. Now, I'm not going to set up for Armageddon in this video. I have only bought the Target exclusive version of Armageddon. I would like to get some of the other versions at some point, but I'm not really buying much of anything right now. Oh, then I also have this Winter, I think it was like a sticker set. They came with like a sticker set they released, I think, for Black Mamba, if I remember correctly. I am not collecting non-album stuff for Winter anymore, but I did still really like this card. So I'm just going to stick it on the back of there for right now. Okay, and then that is everything for aespa and everything for this binder. Next, I'm going to go into Stray Kids, which is the group I have the second most amount of stuff for. So hopefully that doesn't take me too long to get through. So I have already been filming for almost 45 minutes, so I'm hoping this next part's not going to take too long. Right, so next I'm going to go through and put my Stray Kids cards back in the binders. For the most part, I don't think anything in this binder is going to be laid out any differently than it was before. With like the exception of everything that was in the A5 binder I had for them. So I'm going to be putting that stuff in this binder. Other than that, everything should pretty much be the same. And I'm not going to be putting anything away from 8, even though I have bought a few albums already. Mainly because I am planning on hopefully filming my updated collection video after this, and I kind of just wanted to film it the way it would have looked if I would have filmed it last month when I originally was hoping to film it. So I don't want to include anything new in there, which I don't know if that even makes any sense, but you know, it makes sense to me. And I am also planning on downsizing a little bit, but I'm going to do that after I film my updated collection video. But if for some reason I don't end up doing the collection video, then I am gonna like work on downsizing and everything in my next video. Which the downsizing won't be any like of the Tanner Felix cards. It'll just be some of the stuff I have for the other members. I don't remember how I had Christmas Evil laid out. I think I had all Chance cards at the top and then Felix at the bottom, if I'm remembering correctly. And I do already mostly have a plan of what I'm going to be collecting for 8. I do know I'm not going to be collecting every card from every version. I'm not planning. I did buy the normal photo book versions and the limited version. I didn't buy any of the other versions, and I don't know if I'm going to. If anything, I might get the Nemo versions, but I don't think I'm going to try and collect the cards for those albums. I really have not looked for the most part at any of the cards for this album to see like how much they are to even try and get them, because I am like in the middle of looking for a new job right now, and I'm planning to not really buy much of anything until after I get a new job. Like really the only things I've been buying are like higher priority Lisa cards, and the only card from 8 that I am like actively looking for is the Tanner Felix Walmart unit from the Walmart exclusive version, because I've gone to Walmart twice just trying to buy an album myself, and both of the Walmarts I went to didn't have the album, and the last I checked it was out of stock online. So I do want to try and get that card, but everything else I'm going to wait to start collecting. I don't remember how I had these unit cards laid out before. I think I'm just going to stick them in for right now. And then if I want to, I can rearrange them later. These are really going in no particular order. It's just whatever one I grab first is going in. That was everything for Ordinary. Right, now I have Accident. So I feel like this is like easily the best set of the Target exclusive cards that they've done. I feel like I haven't liked any of the ones I've done for any of the albums since Accident. I also feel like Accident in general had some of my favorite cards of theirs. And I know I had the heart cards in the middle, and I had Felix first, so they were actually making a heart. And now next I'm going to put in an extra page, because I'm going to put in the pops I had for Accident, because these I originally had in an A5 binder, but I couldn't find either of the A5 binders that I had in all the boxes I still have to unpack. So I'm going to put them in here. And like I said earlier, I honestly just don't like having my stuff in, I just don't like A5 binders for my collection personally. So I don't think I'm going to end up putting cards back in that binder. do have Felix's Makes Our card, but I don't have Chan for that one, so at some point I'm gonna maybe try and get that, or they do have some of his other Maxident pre-order cards that I don't have for Felix, so either I'll try and get his equivalent of that card, or I'll just put something else in that spot to fill it up. Right now I'm gonna do 5 Star, which this is the album that I'm gonna end up doing some downsizing, because it was my first comeback, so I was like kind of overly ambitious with what I wanted to collect. So I do have this pop set that I have the full set for, because I originally thought I was going to collect full group for the digipack versions, but I've like officially decided that I'm giving up on that. I'm really not even that far off from completing them, but every time I see the cards for sale, I don't even want to get them, and I feel like I've been stressing about trying to get the last couple cards, and it's really just not like either set. I was planning on actually collecting the digipack version and the digipack pre-order card, so I was gonna have like 5 different full group sets for this album. I had the pop set, which I got all those cards because I bought all 8 digipacks, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And I had the Target exclusive version, or so it was 4 different sets, and the 2 digipack sets. And I was just like thinking about it, and if I decided to drop from collecting all 8 members for that, then I would finally be done with 5 Star, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So I personally would just much rather focus on like future comebacks and any other stuff for Chain or Felix that I would like to get, instead of trying to collect all 8 members for everything. So even though I am planning on downsizing the set, I am going to put them away right now, or put away the cards I do have right now. Like, I was literally 1 card away from finishing this set. I just need Sungmin, but I don't want to get the card, and I don't want to get, I think, like the 2 cards I'm missing for the other set. And I feel like I really don't need 4 different full group sets for this album. And usually once something kind of starts to feel, and for me, once I start to feel like I'm stressed about trying to get a card or something, like I've been putting off buying, even though I've like seen the cards for sale, that's kind of usually when I'm like, all right, I just need to downsize this. And again, I would just prefer to collect more stuff for the 2 members I actually do collect. And it's not like I don't have other full group sets for this album. So obviously I'm going to keep the Chain and Felix cards that I have, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the other members, like if I'm going to keep any of the cards. Because I am going to decide that once I film my next reorganizing video. I do really like the backs of these cards though, but like I don't even like the cards themselves enough to like that I feel like I need those. And I personally just prefer the pop set and the Target cards over the 2 digipack version sets. So even though I'm literally 3 cards away from finishing it, I'd rather just not try and collect them right now. Wait, so I have just the Chain of Felix cards. So I do have this set of pops from the set of the Makes Our pops, which, since I am going to be downsizing the sets that I'm collecting for the digipack cards, I am going to put those on the same page as the digipack cards. But like I said, I'm not doing it in this video, so I'm just going to stick those on the back of there for right now. And then when I do that reorganizing video, I can do that then. Okay, now I have Rockstar. First, I have the platform version selfie set. I can't believe they went from like literally giving you a full set of selfie cards in the platform version last time to this time. There's now 2 platform versions, and the cards are random 1 out of 8. Which I don't know. I honestly have like a lot of opinions about not just like the amount of album versions they have this time, but like also just the fact that the cards are like 1 out of 8 for most of the versions, and the fact that like the packaging honestly was not like, I did not love the packaging. Like the normal photo book versions, I feel like there's so much more they could have done with the packaging, and I feel like, I don't know, I have a lot of things I could say about it, but I'm not going to say most of it in this video, or probably like in any video. But I don't know, it's really annoying that they keep putting out more and more, which obviously it's not them, it's JYP, but it's just so annoying that they purposely put out a bunch of different album versions just for like the sake of album sales and for making money, but then they don't even like make it worthwhile almost, because like the album packaging quality could be much better. They could do so much more with like even just the amount of photo cards you get, not even like getting into the photo cards themselves. Right, now I have some more of the Rockstar cards, which this page is honestly probably one of my favorite pages in this binder. That was like my favorite of all of the Rockstar concepts. Right, now I have the last page for Rockstar, which is like, as much as I like the other page, I don't like this one as much, just because it's definitely not as cohesive, because I think it was like the postcard version set doesn't look cohesive with the other 2 sets, but I don't have anything else to put in the middle, and I honestly completely forgot that I was still missing that Felix card, so I do need to get that at some point. Okay, and like I said, I'm not going to put any of away any of the stuff I have for 8 at this moment. I'm going to put like a random page of pops in right here. So I have this one, just random ordinary pop. But there was a point in time where I like convinced myself I was going to collect all of At Least Trans pre-order cards, or like not all of them, but like a decent amount of them. And then I realized just how many pop sets they do and how many fan signs there are. And honestly, a lot of it is just because Rockstar came out at like a very just weird time for me. Like I had like literally the day the album came out, I had like a huge like unexpected change happen at work, and then like the rest of November just ended up being, not like because of the work thing, just because of other stuff going on in my personal life, ended up being just like an absolutely terrible month for me. And then that kind of continued over from November into the rest of the year, and honestly like a good part of this year. So like collecting for a while just wasn't like a priority for me, because like I had other stuff going on. And I'm gonna also have like a random page of unit cards that really doesn't make any sense, but I just needed to put them in somewhere. But yeah, like I was saying, this has been like honestly a weird year for me. I've had a lot of stuff going on from like last year and stuff this year, and I moved to like a completely different state, and it was literally like 17 hours away from the state that I lived in before. And like even before that, like there wasn't a ton of comebacks for groups that I collected, like even just stuff that I wanted to collect. So I honestly haven't been focusing a ton on collecting this year, but I am excited to kind of finally get back into it and like start working on my collection again. I am not like really buying too much right now, because like I said earlier, I am in the process of looking for a new job. So once I get that, I will hopefully be back to like collecting and posting a lot more regularly. Right now I have this set of Mania tour cards that I still haven't finished. So I have like the Polaroids. I think I'm missing like, I think there's like 10 of them, or like a random number like that. I am just planning on getting 9. I haven't looked for these in so long, but at some point I would like to. And I also just have that one random card. I think I'm gonna do those 3 right there. Then 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And a 7 pattern. And then I'll just stick that one like that for right now. Right, that works. Right, now I just have all the cards I have for all the other members, which this is another thing I am going to be downsizing. Because like part of me was like keeping them, because there was a part of me that was like, well, maybe I want to collect all 8 members at some point. And I realized that I definitely don't think that's something I'm ever going to end up doing, because that would just be way too much. So I'm not going to get rid of all the cards that I have for the other members. I think I'm just going to like try and maybe keep at least like 3 for each member. And I am planning on collecting, or not collecting, keeping all the cards from Accident, because those are some of my favorite cards of theirs. And if I were to actually collect full group, bring anything out for any other album, it would probably be Accident, because like that album had come out kind of around the time that I had gotten into them. I don't remember exactly how long after it was. I don't know, I just feel like Accident was like a really good, like had some of their best cards in my opinion. Alright, I'm gonna try and get through this pretty quickly because I am almost done. I have been filming for over an hour. I am also thinking about getting another Meow Cafe A4 Plus binder and putting all of my, like doing something similar that I have for Blackpink with my EXO and Stray Kids bigger inclusions, and putting them together in a binder. Because I don't like the way that they're in here currently, and I also feel like not crazy about the way my EXO bigger album inclusions binder looks either, so that is something I'm probably gonna do at some point, just not anytime soon. I do also think I'm gonna keep the other Target exclusive cards I have from Rockstar. I don't think I'll ever end up collecting that set, but I do want to keep the cards that I have. And I did also get the Target exclusive versions of 8, and I'm going to keep the Target exclusive cards that I pulled for that album as well. But I'm just not going to keep every single card I pull for all the other members anymore. Alright, that is finally everything for this binder. I do still have one more binder, but I don't have that many cards left to put away. Alright, so finally I just have my A5 white binder that kind of just has like a mix of groups and a few soloists. This binder I didn't take any of the cards out of, I just left everything in here. So obviously Dreamcatcher also recently had a comeback. I haven't bought the albums yet. It's a similar thing, wait until I get a new job until I buy the albums. And I think I've decided I'm just going to collect 3 cards for Jiu and 3 cards for Yuhyun for that album, and then not collect anything more than that. But I will probably end up setting up for that in like my next reorganizing video. Alright, so now I'm going to put in the sserafim cards that I have, which this collection I'm kind of just going to put these in randomly. I'm not going to do them in any like specific order or anything. This is a collection that I think I've mentioned it in a few videos, that I've been going back and forth about this collection so much and what I wanted to do with it. I think I finally, oh, that was an unforgiving card. I think if I finally decide that I am just going to drop this collection, but I did at least want to have it in my binder for my photo card collection video, just because up until this point I haven't dropped it. I still have it, so I figured I would just include it in that video, and then in my reorganizing video I'll probably take most of these cards out. But honestly, part of the reason like I've decided to drop them is because I honestly just didn't like Easy all that much. It wasn't my favorite title track of theirs. The album itself I didn't really love, and honestly just like with the whole high boycott, I would personally just rather drop the collection, because like I know some people have said that they're just not going to buy albums and they're going to buy the cards secondhand, but for me personally, like just speaking personally, just my own feelings and opinions, I'm not saying anybody else has to feel the same way I do about it. I feel like, I don't know, just like the way personally I've been looking at it is like, if you're buying the cards from somebody, you're obviously like, even buying them secondhand, you're still like encouraging people to buy the albums because they see that there's enough of a demand that if they buy the albums they can sell the cards. So I don't know, honestly, just personally for me, I would rather just like not even buy the cards secondhand, because I feel again like you're still encouraging people to keep buying the albums. But like again, that's just all my own opinion. I'm not saying anyone has to feel the same way I do. I just don't personally want to even buy stuff secondhand. Right, so there was that. So now I just have, I am going to do something different with my Red Velvet collection. That is another collection that I've gone back and forth with so much, and I've changed so many different times, and like I haven't even actively been collecting them for a while now, but that collection still goes through so many changes. Right now I have Somi. Right now I only have 4 game plan cards. So I think I'm just gonna do three cards at the top and then one in the middle. And then that works for now. This is literally like the last page I have in this binder, so I definitely need to move someone out of here. Like I said, I'm going to do something else with my Red Velvet collection, so they're probably going to come out of here, and I think I'm probably going to put them in a binder with aespa. I just haven't fully decided yet. Okay, but that is everything for now. Hopefully my next video should be my updated collection video. At this point, I am still planning on filming it, even though it is really late, because normally I would have wanted to upload it probably like a month ago. Alright, but that is everything for now. Thank you for watching. Bye.